Hey, finally, I want to go into the personal section of today's episode, and I want to just pull out and extract some of the meat that Martin and I discussed today, because I think it's important to share a few of at least my highlights that I believe are going to be some of your highlights as well. If we can think about that and go through some coaching here. And I just got a few. Number one was this. Martin talked about his experience when he called that publisher, that one publisher he knew, and he said, "No, I can't help you." And then he asked the question, "But there's got to be one. There's got to be someone that you know who can help me in this genre." And the guy said, "Well, maybe there's one. I got one guy who I think you might want to talk to." And it made me think this: turning points. Turning points. Do you ask that follow-up question? Do you go a little deeper when someone says no, to go a little deeper and say, there's got to be someone. There's got to be someone that can help connect the dots. Who's the one person that you know that I should know? Who's the one person that you know that I should know? And that's what Martin did, is there's got to be someone. So ask that follow-up question when someone says, "No, I don't think so," is when you genuinely give them that time and say, there's got to be someone. Or when someone asks you that question, you really sit and think, there's got to be someone that I know that I can help them with, because it's all about those connections. That's number one, is think about that and go the extra step, ask the extra question, go the extra mile. And that's going to be a differentiator, a separator for you as well. That's number one. Number two, we talked about the concept there in the mindset section just previously about saying yes more often, saying yes more often. And I really like that, saying yes more often. Where are you saying yes more often these days? I feel like many times we're always saying no and we're reducing and eliminating. Nothing wrong with that. I do believe we do need to eliminate and reduce some of the riffraff that we could have in our schedules, or some of the time wasters, the things that are not in the proper quadrant that's allowing us to get things done that need to get done. But saying yes to the things that scare you, saying yes to the things that could lead to an opportunity down the line, and not being afraid of that, I think is an important aspect. So say yes more often on that. And then Martin also talked about this: be ready for the red pen. And I like that. I pull that out because it's personal for me, being ready for the red pen. Because what does that mean? Be ready to be exposed. Be ready to show that you're not perfect. Be ready to show that you've got some scars on you, that you've got some things that aren't right with you. Because how many times have I said on this show is that everyone's got something. Everyone's got something, right? Last I checked, we all got something. We're all battling to get better every day. And this is personal for me because, man, like in the quest for each and every one of us to live our God's purpose for us. And as you go deeper, be ready for the red pen. Let's not be afraid to be criticized, or to be ridiculed, or to be edited of some of the things that we must do. And I really like that. There's, in Martin's case here, he talked about be ready for the red pen as a literal sense. They were going to red pen it, but maybe you're in a figurative sense of maybe there are some things that you know you're going to need a course correct or edit. Good, do it. And what is it? And number four, along the lines of, we talked about in the mindset section about saying yes more often, like what's the worst thing that can happen? And Martin talked about fear. And my mind went to fear, yes, but fear of what? Is it fear of success, or is it fear of failing? Because I believe that both success and failure can motivate us. And what I want to specifically say here in this personal section is, don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fail. You hear it over and over again, but so many times when identities get cemented in success, when our identities get cemented in success, then we're afraid to fail, because what if? What if they know that I'm not perfect? What if they know I'm not as successful as they think I am? What if? What if? Don't be afraid to fail, because as we were discussing and talking about, those failures ultimately lead us to the successes that we so desire and that we're so deserving of. I want to make sure today in this personal section that you know in your mind and you recite is, don't be afraid to fail. Forward. Fail forward. and fail forward and make those mistakes. That's okay. Get up and keep going. And you're ultimately going to end up exactly where you're supposed to be based on those lessons, based on those experiences. So my final question to you, my final coaching question to you is, what's next? What's next for you? What's next? This was all been about what's next because for Martin Rooney, he wrote a book called Blood Feud, right? And the Blood Feud is everything that he's doing to reinvent himself. Good, reinvent if that is the case for you. But what's next for you in your own journey, in your own steps of what you're doing? I wanted today's episode, I told you in the very, very beginning, here at the very, very end, to buckle up your bootstraps, that we're going deep and you're going to be on fire. You're going to have more energy, more motivation, more passion, all of these things. Fantastic. But ultimately, you got to decide of what's next. What's next for you? What are you going to step into? And maybe it is as an author, fiction or nonfiction. Maybe it is as a speaker, and you're going to speak more in your local community or in your jurisdiction, in your province, in your state, in your country. You're going to speak online, in a podcast, whatever it's going to be. As a coach, as a trainer, as an attorney, as a financial advisor, as a mom or a dad, what are you going to step into? For me personally, when I think about that and I share over the last 5+ years on the Impact Show, and here we are over 430 something episodes deep, and I'm like, man, what's next for you? We are a constant evolution of our best self. And I want to implore you today, encourage you, emphatically state as you recite after me, don't be afraid to fail. Step into the next iteration, the next best version of you. Show up in the room and be where you're supposed to be, and keep showing up and not being afraid of what's next. So my friend, that is a wrap. That's a wrap from today. And I had an absolute blast hanging with you for this last hour plus, going deep, saying yes more often, looking and thinking about how can I use the lessons learned today from the episode so that ultimately you can step into the best version of you. Until next time, thank you so much for joining me and Martin today. Have an awesome, awesome day, an awesome week. Please forward this message for your friends, for your family, for your communities, wherever they may be, because I think it can help them as well. So until that time, don't forget, train hard, eat right, live inspired, and go create impact.